I got the rest of the wall done. Just a little bit of an issue. So I ended up having to cut smaller pieces out of this to patch this part. This part, because of the length and the distance between the ribs, I had limited options if I didn't want to buy new boards and all that. Either way, there was going to be this seam. So this seam is in the middle of the ribs because on the other side, which I did first, I had the seam in the middle of the rib, thinking that I would just screw one screw here and one screw there. But then I thought I could just patch it, which is what I was doing here, which means I would take a smaller piece and then screw in both boards to the piece of board behind it to like seal that. And then I would find some sort of a trim or something to put over it later. I actually do have an idea of how that's going to be covered up, which I will show you later on. Either way, it doesn't look that bad to me anyways, because I have a vision for this. Like, I know where I'm going with this. So like this gap here where you can see the insulation, I get what's going to be there. This area here, I left it exposed because this side actually does still light up. So I left it there in case I need it. I'm going to put something here to make it a little more aesthetic, and I keep kind of cutting myself, not this one per se, but some of them are a little jagged, and it's not pleasant, let's just say. So we'll see what I'm gonna do about that. Otherwise, I'm just gonna paint it. Maybe I'll just try to patch the holes with like good old-fashioned plaster or silicone or something, and then just paint over it. So the situation with the floor, this section is where I was trying to patch it up, but I realized today that many of these tiles are actually coming off, so I'm going to re-glue them. And I guess just be aware that if you're going to use vinyl floors, yes, they're cheap and light and easy, but you know, they're cheap for a reason. And honestly, they're not even that cheap, not nowadays anyways. On that note, I'm going to explain something that might not be obvious to the noobs. So this floor was here when I bought the van. The hole that I tried, that's behind this wall that I tried extending to put the shore power plug in there, that hole was there in the first place. This hole was also there when I bought the van. These holes, like basically almost all the holes that are already in the van, like all the drill holes, screw holes, whatever, they were here when I got the van. Because this, like, I didn't go drilling in all these holes for no reason. They were in the van when I got it, because the people before me or before me had a build, and they took their build out before they sold the van. I took a piece of the leftover board from the walls and I cut it out to fit around the fan, screwed it in. The reason for that is because when I put this in, it's got to screw into something. And the reason I haven't completed the ceiling with the board is because I have a budget-friendly alternative that I will show you. I'm trying to cut the extra length off the fan cover, and I am using a Sawzall. And it's not really totally effective. I'm not sure if I am doing it right and I'm just supposed to be more patient with it, or if I'm using the wrong tool, or if I'm using the right tool and this blade is just awful. Again, this is not my saw. And I'm not really sure how I'm supposed to pin this down, like how I'm supposed to secure this as I cut it. So what I've been doing is I've been holding it, like leaning it over the step, and then like holding it down with my leg, which is obviously dangerous and probably very stupid and not the way to do this. Don't do this at home, and that's why also I'm not going to demonstrate it, obviously. I have absolutely no idea how I'm supposed to do this otherwise. It's obviously too thick for my usual X-Acto knife, utility knife shenanigans, And I tried with the little handsaw and it's really, really ineffective too. So I don't know, I'm gonna do some research. Okay, so I did some research and it looks like most people seem to use a circular saw or a grinder or something, neither of which I have. And also they tend to have somebody there to help them to hold it in place while they cut, and I don't. So I have a couple options to bother the neighbor, which I really don't want to do. Or I can just throw it back in the van like it is and not put it on the ceiling until at some point down the line when I get my own saw, and maybe even meet some people that can hold it for me while I cut through it. It's the last week of July and I am finally going to IKEA to get the last pieces that are missing to make the van actually livable, like the parts for the bed and the counter and so on. The plan is to pick everything up today and hopefully get it all done over the next day or two and be out of here by Friday, which is my birthday. I'm a bit stressed out because I'm going to be bringing the van on the highway for the first time. And I was stressed out when I first got the van. I was afraid to drive it. And then I started to drive it and it was totally fine and I'm pretty comfortable with it now. So I'm pretty confident that I'll be okay, but I'm still terrified a little bit because of all the other cars that are going to be on the highway. And I live in Quebec, so there's going to be a bunch of cars trying to cut me off the entire way. Well, I just had a heart attack. We did it. We're alive. This may be the only time that I get to go to IKEA until like fall, spring, whatever, because I don't think I can leave. I'm pretty sure that I'm not going to leave the cats in the van while I'm in IKEA during the summer at any point, because it's not like a run in, run out kind of place, and I don't want to leave them in the car if it gets hot, like if it's hot. Yeah, so like I might be able to pull it off in cooler or cold seasons, but definitely not in the summer. I wouldn't take a chance. And since this is the last time, basically I'm just getting everything to be able to leave by the end of the week. By the end of the week I won't be able to come back. That's what I'm thinking. So I better not mess it up. We have a big issue. They don't have like half the things that I need in this store. They're out of stock. So I need a new plan. Basically, I have to choose the size of mattress. They don't have any full mattresses, and I was gonna get a full mattress and full slats. So now I have to get a smaller mattress, which is fine temporarily. The problem is now I have to choose slats, or I'm not gonna get any slats, and I'm gonna sleep on the floor until I find a different store with the right size stuff. So I think I'm gonna get this mattress just because it's cheap, because it's not the one that I want. So I don't want to spend a bunch of money on something that I can't keep long term. I don't know what to do. I'm thinking of getting one of these because it's like $100. Like it would be temporary. So I'd be getting one of these instead of the counter. So I don't know where I would put my water, like the jerry cans. And I would be getting this instead of the bed that I want and sleeping on the floor until I get the mattress that's the right size, because I just don't know anymore. Okay, I found this and that looks like it says full to me. I look on the website and it says it doesn't exist, like it's out of stock in the store. I am confused. The other thing that I was potentially going to do is that I traded out the one that I was going to get for this mattress topper, which is queen, but it's only about 2 inches thick. So what I was going to do is just lean the length, like the extra length up, and it's forget how much it is, but I think it was pretty cheap. Okay, so this is what I'm going with. I found a full-size mattress, which was not on the website. The website says they're out of stock, so I was lucky to find this. Yeah, I got the Scorba beams and the queen size slats, the Letroy slats. I hope I'm not missing anything. The only thing then now that I still didn't get, so I'm spending like an extra $100 on the mattress that I didn't anticipate, but it's a better mattress, so hopefully it's a good choice in the long run anyways. Okay, they don't have the counter that I like really needed / wanted, so that I could put the jerry cans in it and the Berkey on top and all that stuff. It was going to save me a lot of trouble, like organize a lot of the stuff, and they don't have it. So now I have to go to another IKEA location and get that, which I probably won't do until, like I said, fall. So here is the loot. I spent as much as I expected to spend without getting everything that I expected to get. In other words, I spent way more. At least like about $200, $250 more than I expected. I don't even know why. I honestly don't know why. I really don't. I'm finally out of that store. It's been all day. It's been several hours because, first of all, this store is a maze. It's horrible. I hate that store. It's like, you like it for the stuff, but oh my God, does it waste your life. And I spent a lot of time trying to figure out some kind of an alternative to what I was originally planning on buying. And like I said, I spent more money than I expected, probably at least partly because of that. Okay, so this is the mess right now. Trying to think of a plan here. Here's what's going on. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this stuff out and I'm going to vacuum and wash the floor, and then I'm going to start putting things back in, and I'm basically going to kind of pack the van to see how high things go, like how much room the stuff's going to take up, because we have a problem. Okay, so the original plan was to screw that into the side here, right? Which, if I put bolts through it and plus nuts, the theory was that it would be strong enough to hold the bed, right? Now, here's the thing. First of all, so these things need brackets, right? They like hang in the brackets, and you screw the brackets on the wall, and that's how they stick to the wall. Problem is, I didn't get any at IKEA, and I didn't get any because I didn't see any. And I looked it up thinking I'm going to have to figure out where to get them. And apparently, due to all the 2021 issues, like shipping, there are none. There are apparently none in stock. I'm going to keep trying to figure out where to find them. Maybe I can find them at the IKEA where I get the counter. But otherwise, the plan right now is, I don't know. I'm going to start by vacuuming and try to figure this out. So we vacuumed. Everything is on the lawn. For some reason, I felt like it was a good idea to rewash the cab. Yeah. I just washed the floor and I shoved everything back in the van because it is starting to rain. So don't want to take a chance. And I don't know, I'm going to try to work around this, I guess. So this is what it's looking like so far. I only have about maybe half the stuff, I guess, in the van. But there is still quite a bit of room considering, like, there's all this space. One of these is empty, so that's going to be full. So that's going to take, that's like a lot. That's a lot of space. And then on top, see where the carriers are. that's all space on top of these 2 buckets, and whatever's going to go here, that can be full of stuff. So I do think, at least for the most part, it's going to work out for the space. I have to figure out, like, I can't put the bed in right now unless I figure out some other way to do it. So there's that. That's a huge issue. There's also the issue of how high I can put the bed. I know in an earlier vlog I said that the slats would be screwed into the metal ribs, like through the wood into the ribs, but that, I don't know why I said that, because my original plan, the reason I got the wide boards was so that I could put them here, like this whole space and beyond is going to be covered by that piece of wood. And the idea was that I would be able to, hypothetically, screw these in to the wood, but like up here, and the wood would hold it up instead of screwing it into the metal. And the way that I plan on doing that was like trying to make it staple or whatever, was to get plus nuts and put the plus nuts into the ribs. So maybe these holes, or drill other holes and put the plus nuts in so that I could put big thick bolts in so that it would be more sturdy, so that it could hold more weight, basically. Like these bars itself are kind of heavy, and they're heavy enough that it kind of makes me scared that the whole, like, I don't even think that the wood would hold those beams, basically. So I have absolutely, well, actually what I planned on doing was I was gonna actually go spend the money on wood, even though whatever, and I was gonna cut a piece of wood to go between, like, just to hold these up. So I would put a piece of wood from like here to here, like lengthwise or whatever, from the ground up, to like be like a pillar, to hold the Scorva beams up, to give them more support. So that's an idea. I'm still really trying to just figure this out. I want to share with you guys how I feel, because I think it's important. As I started getting closer and closer to finishing up and almost being ready to move, like earlier this month, I was super psyched when I put up the walls and everything, and I had a lot of energy and I was ready to just get it done and get out. And I even told the neighbor, I'm like, I'm gonna be out by the end of the week. Well, it's been a couple weeks since then, and part of it is because my own physical stuff, like the fibromyalgia and everything, I have weeks where I'm debilitated. And so this week is the last week of July. Today is my birthday, and I really wanted to do something significant on my birthday. For once, I wanted to be free on my birthday. I was really hoping to be finished by the end of the month. So the other day I forced myself to go to IKEA, even though I was really exhausted, like, and in pain. And I was really in pain the day after. So that's why it took me till today to get to the point where I'm like, okay, well, maybe I can push through and put stuff in the van or whatever. And then all these other issues, like not being able to find the brackets and not being able to find the plus nuts to put up the piece of wood to hold the brackets. It's just one thing after another, making things really difficult. And this is not an easy thing to do in itself. Like, even if all the parts fell into place, emotionally and psychologically, it's really hard. It's not hard to move. I've moved like 1 billion times in my life. It's hard for 2 major reasons. One is because, like, I'm not 20. I'm not like a 20-year-old who has the ability to just like when I was 20, I was crazy. I used to do all kinds of stuff fearlessly. But now I'm like, it's weird how you get older and you get really comfortable with modern luxuries like running water and stuff like that. So part of me is dreading the notion of being without a proper washroom, you know, just not just the toilet, but the shower and all that. I've lived without running water before. It's a long story, I won't get into it, but I had lived for about 6 weeks with no running water, and you get used to it. Like, it's annoying at first, but you get used to it. But the other side of things is when you live in a house with plumbing, you get used to that too. So it's that transition that's like this psychological obstacle. I mean, at the beginning of this, I was psyched. Like, one of my earlier videos, I remember just being so psyched about being closer to nature, and nothing else bothered me, nothing else really mattered me, it didn't scare me or anything. I was ready. And then somehow over the course of the last several months of preparing to leave, it just got harder and harder. And that's kind of why I think this is important to talk about, like, above all else, because I'm sure everybody has their own like hesitations, but I think this is something bigger, and I think this applies not just to moving into a van, but basically anything that you want to do that's outside of your comfort zone. It's fun at first, like it's so much fun at first when you first conceive of the idea. You know, you dream big and you run out and you know, let's say you're like, oh, I'm gonna hike up a mountain or whatever, and then you run out to the store and you buy all the gear and you're like super psyched. But then it gets harder along the way, and when you get really, really close to doing it, when you get really, really close to that boundary between your comfort zone and outside of it, I think that's when you start to resist. That's why throughout this process, I did a lot of bridge burning. I got rid of all of my stuff. I bought the van, you know, things that it's like point of no return stuff, where in those moments like I am now, where I am like not feeling it anymore, and like, not that I'm not feeling it, like that I don't want to do it, but it's just not as exciting and easy as it was before. Now it's like I have to push through to the end, but I have to make myself do it. And I think that's probably one of the main reasons why people who try to manifest things or try to like chase their dreams or whatever big goal or big life change that they're going after, why it doesn't work out a lot, is because it's always exciting at the beginning, and then it gets harder and harder and harder, and it's like the universe tests you to see how bad you want it. And it's kind of hard to really badly want to be homeless basically. So you really got to get clear on why you're doing things and do them for the right reasons. I think pushing through this last stretch of this is teaching me a very valuable life lesson, because if I can push myself through this, then I'll be able to push myself through a lot of things, and a lot of other things that I wanted to do in my life that I just never completed or never got it around to, or whatever it is that I self-sabotaged or whatever, that I'll have a better understanding that it is self-sabotage and what it is to have to force yourself to go that last mile. I guess that's why I called this Quest Out West, because I knew that it was going to be a quest. I knew that it was going to be not just some easy peasy fun journey, but there was going to be battles along the way, and that I would have to fight demons, even if they are just my own demons.